Okay, I think we can go ahead and get started. We have a critical mass. So if we can go ahead and go to the first slide. Thank you very much. So I just wanted to say good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us today for the No Kid Hungry Center for Best Practices Summer 2026 webinar series. My name is Robin Hernandez, and I'm the Senior Program Manager for Center for Best Practices team at No Kid Hungry. Today, we're going to be talking about reaching the last mile and strategies for serving ultra-rural populations. Next slide, please. So before we begin, here are a few important housekeeping items. The slide deck will be shared with you via email after the webinar along with the recording. I encourage you to also use the chat box throughout the webinar to engage with other attendees. And the webinar will conclude with a Q&A. So please submit your questions throughout the webinar via the Q&A box. We will work to get them answered by the end of the call if time permits. We are also committed to making our webinars accessible and inclusive. Closed captioning is available. You can turn that on the bottom of your Zoom screen. Now let's review the agenda for today's webinar. Next slide. So today we're going to provide you with a quick review of some data surrounding rural communities. Then we will be joined by an amazing panel of speakers who actually joined us at the Summer Nutrition Summit this January in Washington, D.C. They were all gracious enough to come back to provide their presentations again, this time virtually, for those who may not have been able to attend. We will finish again with the Q&A before closing out the webinar and sharing some resources. So next slide. So the term ultra rural, I want to just share, does not have a single or official universally accepted definition. So that said, we would like to acknowledge that some common program challenges are intensified by lower population density and distance from city centers. This is what distinguishes our spotlighted speakers and communities who will be joining us today. Next slide. Before we start with our presenters, we would like to share with you some results from our 2025 sponsor survey on rural non-congregate summer meals programs. We're not going to review all of the findings for the purposes of this presentation. However, we will review what sponsors identified as their top challenges, and some of these challenges listed here you will also hear about from our presenters today. Next slide. So the survey methodology is basically that in summer 2025, sponsors who implemented rural non-congregate programs to expand access for nutritious meals for children that were not able to attend congregate sites. This survey was conducted to capture how sponsors operated the program, identify successes and challenges, and inform technical assistance and support. Next slide. This is a map highlighting in brighter orange the locations with the highest response rates. We received responses from 589 sponsors across 45 states and District of Columbia. Next slide. Most respondents were returning sponsors, and the majority, 76%, actually were school districts. The next largest group being community-based organizations. Next slide. Preliminary findings. While overall sponsors found the program straightforward and the challenges workable, the top challenges were unpredictable meal counts, staffing, procurement of food and supplies, transportation of meals to family, or transportation of meals to families. So as you can imagine, these were especially true for communities that may be considered very rural or ultra rural, as sometimes these challenges can be amplified. The next slide. Before introducing our speakers, we would like to remind you that they represent their own experience with non-congregate summer meal programs in their states and localities, and certain program models and implementation methods may be restricted in some states. Check with your local state agency before implementing any new meal service models or methods. Next slide. So very excited to have a panel of superstars with us today. So first, we're going to be joined by Julie Bjorkstrand, who is the Director of Nutrition Services at Del Norte Unified School District in Northern California. We have Jeanette Broda, who is the School District Director of Transylvania County Schools in Western North Carolina, and Scott Germain, who is the Food Nutrition Services Supervisor at Garrett County Schools in Western Maryland. Next slide. So first, we're going to hear from Julie, who is the Director of Nutrition Services at Del Norte Unified School District. She brings over 12 years of experience in school nutrition to her role in this rural community. She expertly manages daily operations, contracts, purchasing, and budgets for a nutrition program for approximately 3,600 enrolled students. Julie is a specialist and leads a team of 35 amazing nutrition services staff across 12 school sites, central kitchen, and warehouse. She holds an Associate of Arts in Behavioral and Social Science from the College of the Redwoods. So I'm going to pass it over to Julie.
Thank you, Robin. This first slide here, I just am very proud of the photos. Those are pictures that I've taken of the beautiful place that I live. We are incredibly diverse, redwood trees, rugged coast, and rivers as well. It's a beautiful place. Next slide. This gives you a little bit of idea. California is a very large state, and that little red square up in the top corner is where we are. We have a population of about 27 to 28,000. We have 4 federally recognized nations in our county: the Yurok people, the Tolowa Dini, the Elk Valley Rancheria, and the Policla. While it sounds big, we are 1,000 square miles, but 78% of that is owned by state or federal agencies. So we're actually centered in a pretty small place. We do have 37 miles of absolutely beautiful coastline. Unfortunately, that does offer some of its own challenges, which I'll talk about in a minute. Our primary city is Crescent City. It is the only incorporated city, but we have 5 other towns and communities that are spread across the county. Another significant challenge for us, though less in the summer, is we average about 65 inches of rain per year, which makes us a bit of a rainforest, which is what the redwood trees love. So I too love rain because I love redwood trees and the color green. Next slide, please. This gives you an idea of what we live with up where we are. The map with the hot pink color on it shows where our population is centered across our county. So while you see the black outline is the entirety of our county, that little bit of area of pink is where our folks are living. And you can see all the way at the southern end of the county, we have some small populations into the eastern part, the interior of our county, as well as all the way up to the Oregon border. So you can see based on that, getting food to every kiddo in our county who needs it can be a struggle. And if you look at the pictures on the side, you can see why it can be a struggle to get food to some of our places. In the top right, you're seeing a picture of what is called Last Chance Grade. That is our primary highway that runs north and south through our county. It's built on the side of a cliff above the ocean, about 150 feet. And this hillside continues to move regularly. I grew up in Del Norte County, and I believe that they have been working on this section of road since well before I was even here. And it is a continual project. We also experience fires, which is that second picture down. It's our Highway 199, which runs east to west. And that occasionally has slides, which is what some of those big boulders are, redwood trees, which have very shallow roots. And with 65 inches of rain a year, they sometimes decide to topple. And we have had a couple of fires that have closed our highways as well. So frequent road closures are a struggle, not only in terms of reaching our families and delivering food, but also getting deliveries. Some vendors who come to us up here in Northern California are not properly licensed to go up into Oregon and then come back down. So we just can't get deliveries from them during those times. Next slide, please. We have been running a very successful summer meals program for a lot of years. I think the last 15 possibly. And since COVID, when everyone in California went to non-congregate, we implemented that at that time and have not gone back to regular in-person service. We do only rural non-congregate here. Um, it's very successful for us. Though if you look at my little graph here, you can see that our meals from 2023 to 2024 dropped. Now we know that our population here didn't change. Our economy did not improve. So we weren't quite sure why we were seeing a drop in participation, but it was concerning. Um, and over the years, we have had the exact same um, plan. We've distributed food Monday through Friday, Monday through Friday, a breakfast and a lunch each day. Um, while this can be kind of labor intensive when you don't have a lot of staff, it's consistent. So we thought that was kind of the way to go. Um, but then seeing how we were doing in 24 and knowing that we wanted to make some changes to hopefully improve our reach, we did. And as you can see, we successfully served a lot more meals by the changes that we made. Next slide. We had our first ever summer kickoff celebration on the first day of our summer meal program. We set up in the park. The fire trucks came down. We had other groups that participated and came and supported the event. Home Depot provided us the little kids building kits, and we had some folks blowing giant bubbles for us, and it was a tremendously successful event and really got people excited and informed about our program. And you can see some pictures of our food and such there. Next slide, please. So I like to try and view the things that are difficult not as obstacles, but as opportunities. And the challenges that we encounter give us chances to think about things in a different way and try some different things. Our Some of our biggest struggles, I'm sure other folks have the same issues where you are, limited staffing. We have a few folks who are staffed year round, but the majority of our people only work during the school year. So one of the ways that we have managed to work within that issue is we partner with our community partners. We have, as I showed you on the map, a very spread out county. We have students all the way north to south and into the east. So how do we, with a very limited staff during the summer, how do we get food to all of those people? Well, we've reached out to community partners. We worked with our Family Resource Center, who distributes meals for us. We work with the Open Door, our community health center. They distribute meals from their location. We also partner with we have low income apartment complexes where a lot of students reside. And so we've partnered with those as well. And the folks who man the reception area and the lobby will distribute meals for us. So we've really had to come up with some creative ways to get food to the folks who need it. Now, low participation is, as I showed you with my graph, was a problem. We couldn't understand what was going on, why we were seeing fewer people. So we made several changes last year. We went from a 5-day-a-week distribution to a 2-day-a-week distribution. So we were handing out on Monday, meals for Monday and Tuesday. And then we were handing out on Wednesday, meals for Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and we were able to add Saturday. So that was one way that we were trying to see if we could make it more valuable for people to come because they were getting more each time they visited us. In addition to that, we wanted to kind of increase that value, and we partnered with our local food hubs, Sport Food Hub out of Davis and the Harvest Hub out of the county just to the south of us. And what they did, what Spork did for us, we determined how much produce we would need to meet the requirements for 4 days of breakfast and 4 days of lunch. Spork found California grown items that met all of those requirements, and they would bag up each serving that would be distributed to the family for those 6 days of meals, or those 4 days of meals, I'm sorry, and then shipped that up to us already bagged and in boxes ready for us to go. That was tremendously successful and added a large amount of value to that meal distribution for those folks who participated. Now, we did see between the Monday and Wednesday distribution a higher participation in Wednesday. There was more value in getting 4 meals than in 2. So this coming summer, what we're trying is switching to a single day of distribution. More work on the front end to get everything prepped and ready, but we think we'll be more successful ultimately, because you can only come out one day a week and you have to be there to get it. So we're thinking that's going to help us a little bit, increasing that value and decreasing the number of distribution days. It's really important, I think, for you all organizing programs to not be afraid to try something different. I was really worried about the things that I switched in advance of last summer. I wasn't sure if it was going to be successful. I didn't know how well it would or wouldn't work. But we ended up serving about 20,000 more meals last summer than the summer before. So change can be scary, but it's a good opportunity to grow a program. And I think that's it for me.
Wow. Thank you so much, Julie. That was amazing. I think it's really notable. Like when you say 20,000 meals, especially that's a huge number when you consider that you're working with a small population of kids that are spread out everywhere. So noting how you made that adjustment from 5 days to 2 days, now you're going from 2 days to one day, and how staffing was a challenge for you. I'm wondering, did reducing your distribution days have an impact on your staffing need? Did it make it easier to meet those staffing needs?
It did. The work heavy days were fewer. We were distributing on Monday and Wednesday, so Thursday was not, there wasn't a whole lot going on Thursday. Friday we would kind of begin building the bags. And my team starts work at about 5:30, 6 a.m. So by the time the meals needed to go out for distribution, we would have finished everything up Monday morning before they went out. Once those meals went out for distribution, we would start on the bigger project of getting Wednesday ready. And then we'd still have a little time Wednesday morning to finish that up before they went out. And it allowed us a little more time in the rest of the week to do things and work on projects that we wanted to have ready for the start of the school year. So it was really a nice way to do it, because we had that heavy workload at the beginning of the week, kind of getting everything ready and getting ready to feed all of those families. But then the end of the week, we could focus on training. We could focus on, working on our computers and updating recipes and menus for the coming year. We even a couple of times went ahead and pre-cooked, 250 pounds of ground beef and cooled it and froze it to be used when we came back to school. So it was a really nice way to accomplish a lot of things without feeling necessarily incredibly rushed to get it done. I think the kind of the heavier weight on those 2 days of distribution was on our delivery drivers, who had to load up all of those items and all of that milk and get it to all of our community partners. I think we had 15 community partners this last year, so it's a lot of heavy lifting to get the food out there.
It's amazing, but it's a really great tip though, and something to consider because I know staffing challenges are universal when it comes to staffing summer meals. So that's one thing for folks to consider. Thank you again, Julie.
Thank you.
We're going to go ahead and now switch gears and we're going to be joined by Scott Germain. Scott has been the supervisor of Garrett County Public Schools Food and Nutrition Services Department for 27 years, and he has 43 total years of food service experience. He expanded the Food and Nutrition Services program to include CACFP and SFSP to increase food access for children in his region. Scott earned an AA in 1988 from Garrett Community College and a BA in Travel Industry Management from Concord College. He also has numerous certifications and affiliation. And I must also note, Scott was born and raised in Garrett County, tying him closely to his mission of feeding kids in his hometown. So we're very glad to have you joining us today. Scott, I will turn it over to you.
Thank you, Robin. So next slide. So Garrett County is in far western Maryland. We're about 3 hours west of DC and Baltimore, 2 hours south of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. We have a population of just over 28,000 people. We're very much a tourist area. We have a lake in the summer for boating, skiing, and swimming, and a ski resort in the winter for snow skiing. We're around 3,000 feet above sea level, and we average over 100 inches of snow per year. So we're a little different than the rest of the state of Maryland. We don't have a Y or a Parks and Rec department, so children don't have places to congregate in the summer. We don't have public transportation, and everybody loves the idea that we only have one Uber driver in the entire county. So with those factors, it's difficult to get people to centralized locations. So we went with a mobile routes plan and hand out 7 days of breakfast and lunch at the same time, 2 days a week, different areas. So, and the entire county is considered rural and area eligible. So we have about 3,300 students in 12 kitchens, 13 buildings. We have one school that doesn't have a kitchen, 45 staff, some full-time staff in the office. We are 100% CEP this year. Really happy with how that's working out. So next slide. So our challenges for summer food service is staffing, deliveries, getting to everyone, finding locations to hand out meals, and then marketing is complicated. So these are our vans that we use for distribution, and I have to thank No Kid Hungry for the help with those through the grants that we've gotten over the years. Next slide. So our staffing, we have 45 staff during the school year, and the summer food service program helps the 24 that choose to work summer, as they don't get paychecks otherwise. It also helps us by keeping them employed, so they don't have to look for summer jobs, and then we might lose them. Fair Week is kind of a county-wide event, so that affects our staffing and our participation. So our staff is taking the week off so that they can take their kids down to show off their animals and the other things that they present at the fair. But it does help that we don't have as many meals going on that week. And our summer school sites are also closed down. So our deliveries, our vendors are coming from 2 to 4 hours away in West Virginia and Pennsylvania. We have deliveries that come in at 4 a.m. as they're passing through the county, while others show up on any day they want. They just kind of show up and say, hey, we're here. So it gets a little interesting. But if we miss the delivery, it's another week before they can get here. So, and then getting to everyone, we had 38 sites. And even with all those sites, we can't reach everyone. Sometimes families are still 20 minutes away from one of our sites. We looked at bus stop information to see where the large numbers of children would be. We have 60 bus routes, so we couldn't follow all the routes. So we found sites near our large stops. Over the past 5 years, we've tried new sites, dropped some sites, just trying to get as creative as we can to find the right kids. Next slide, please. So locations. So in 2024, we had 58 sites. 29 in the afternoon serving breakfast and lunch, and 29 in the evening serving snack and supper. In 2025, we started with 38 sites, 19 afternoon and 19 evening, all serving breakfast and lunch only. So we knew the meal counts would be down. This was a result of a clarification to the state from USDA that we could not serve four different meals. In August, we eliminated 13 sites due to low participation. This was to help with costs. That was a mistake. We should have just waited till this summer because it was very confusing for our families. We started serving summer meals in 2010. We served about 3,000, a little over 3,000 meals that summer. We thought that was great. In 16, we started doing mobile routes, and we used 2 trailers because we didn't have places for kids to stop and sit and wait for their meals, the congregate meals. 2019 was the last year we did congregate meals using our trailers, and our participation had grown to a little over 12,000. We were really happy with that. And then we grew every summer through COVID, through every summer through 2024. And then this summer we saw the drop, and we knew that was coming. So we're just hoping next summer we can bump that up a little bit, dropping 2 different meals. So instead of doing breakfast, lunch, snack, and supper, we were just doing breakfast and lunch. But I think it still worked out pretty well. Next slide. So to market our program, we use flyers, Facebook, the local paper. We participate in 4 parades during the summer to help promote the program. And yes, we do throw candy. It's a lot of fun. We throw a bit of honey, and most of the kids have no idea what that is. It's always, what is that? But their parents or their grandparents are always saying, hey, I love that. Grab me some. So we kind of grab everybody that way. In the past, we would toss wooden nickels along with the parades. And then they could bring those back to our sites, and we'd give them a free gift, just something small. We also have yard signs we try to put up. And we also, every year, we use our vans to help promote year round. So we try to put some graphics on there that will grab people's attention. We use those vans year round, so that helps us get the word out. But even with all of that, we still have families say, we didn't know you did this. So we've been doing it for 6 years, and still people say that. So next slide. These are some of our sites and our pictures and our staff, just different places we go. We go to town halls, apartment complexes, fire departments, parking lots, churches, parks, the local college. We even go to a state park that doesn't charge admission. We didn't use any schools for non-congregate this year because we had summer school and they serve congregate meals there. So we had to find a few other locations this year. Our future plans included keeping the sites we have currently and looking to add a mail home shelf-stable meals. A company approached us and they take care of it all. And we just have to figure out if that's going to work. If not, we'll probably try to figure out how to do some home deliveries on the days we're not out doing mobile sites. Just not sure yet. We know we have families that need meals, so we'll keep it going. And with the help of No Kid Hungry, we'll continue to look for ways to reach more kids. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Scott. I love hearing about how you are a school district, but so many sites are not actually at the school sites. And so you've kind of solved that problem of you've got the congregate sites and you keep that separate, and then all of your non-congregate are in so many creative locations. And I think you definitely hit the nail on the head with all the marketing, sometimes we do so much, and you did some really creative things. I love parades. That is one I've never heard before. So if you have a parade in your hometown, see if you can get involved and throw some wooden nickels and candy. I think it's great. But I think you're right. Sometimes no matter how much marketing we do, we can always do more because we always run into families that last week that say, "I didn't know you were here." So, uh,
Yep.
so thank you so much for sharing those amazing ideas. Um,
Thank you.
we're going to go ahead and move on now. And as we hear from our last speaker, if you do have questions for any of our speakers, please go ahead and add them to the Q&A box, and we'll try to get them answered at some point before the end of the call. All right. So next we are going to hear from Jeanette Broda, who is a registered dietitian and school nutrition director for Transylvania County Schools, which is located in a rural, small mountain community in Western North Carolina. With 13 years of experience in school nutrition spanning across 3 counties, as well as service at the state level, Jeanette is committed to ensuring all students have access to high quality, nutritionally dense meals. She values the opportunity to help shape the next generation, supporting their health, well-being, and readiness to learn. And outside of work, she enjoys life with her wonderful husband, 2 energetic children who help keep the family happily busy. Animal lovers at heart, they share their home with a dog and 2 cats. Welcome, Jeanette.
Thanks, Robin. Well, hello, everyone. I'm excited to be here today to tell our story. First, just a little bit about our county. You can go to the next slide, please. Thank you. Transylvania County is an ultra-rural mountain community in Western North Carolina. We're between Asheville, North Carolina, and Greenville, South Carolina. And we have just about 30,000 residents. Our county is considered rural due to our vast mountainous terrain, with about 50% of the county protected by public forest. This includes the Pisgah National Forest, DuPont State Forest, and the Gorges State Park. We are also known as the land of waterfalls, having over 250 waterfalls and about 200 miles of streams. And one more fun fact, we are also known for our white squirrels. Our county relies heavily on ecotourism by offering a variety of outdoor recreation opportunities. Because the county is largely mountainous, access to basic resources can vary depending on location of your home in the county. Our families are widely dispersed between the 2 main municipalities, the city of Brevard and the town of Rosman. And we also have several other smaller communities throughout the county. All of our grocery stores, our 3 main grocery stores and services are located in the county seat of Brevard. So those living outside of Brevard in our most remote, higher elevation areas face a longer travel distance. For some, it's greater than 20 miles. We have 1 public transportation service in our county with a fixed route that operates Monday through Friday during the day. So therefore, our citizens have limited public transportation options as well. So as you can see, geography and our economics play a significant role in shaping our family's access to those basic needs, the food, healthcare, and other needs. Just a little bit about our school district. Transylvania County Schools, we play a vital role in both education and the local economy. We serve just over 3,300 students across 9 schools. And the district is one of the county's major employers in the county. We are a 100% CEP district. We ensure every student receives free meals that we truly believe help reduce barriers to learning and also supports families' financial needs. Throughout the school year, our school nutrition department provides breakfast, lunch, the fresh fruit and vegetable grant, supper and after school snacks, farm to school initiatives, and the Backpack Buddy support on weekend and holidays. Our efforts certainly do not stop when summer rolls around. We know our students still need reliable access to meals all year long. So in order to effectively offer meals to our children in our county, we know we need to offer a variety of summer food service models. Our goals during the summer, number one, are to meet families where they are, offer high quality meals to our children who need them the most, and maintain a strong retention plan for employees during the summer months. So by providing multiple access points to summer meals allows us to meet every single one of these goals. Our efforts to reduce barriers to participation and aim for these goals really paid off last year. Next slide, please. So this past summer, in summer 2025, we operated 16 total summer food service program meal sites. We combined congregate closed enrolled meal sites with non-congregate sites. For our congregate sites, we served 12 closed enrolled day camps in our county, from the Boys and Girls Club, Parks and Rec Camp, band camps, and reading literacy camps. We really do strive to increase these partnerships and provide meals to all of our camps in the summer. For our camps, we offer a 2-week cycle menu consisting of most popular hot and cold breakfast and lunches throughout the week. For our non-congregate meal sites, we provided 2 daily meal pickup locations, one on each end of the county. We incorporated a hybrid site to provide weekend meals. And then we also operated a home delivery model throughout the county. So altogether, we served nearly 45,000 meals. And for us, this was a 35% increase over the previous summer, which is about 15,000 more meals for us. So next slide, please. One of the primary reasons we were able to expand summer meals so significantly and continue to serve hot meals daily, and employ staff who wanted to work was due to the growth in our home delivery program. Our first year doing this was providing the home delivery program was in summer 2024. And we were able to, in 2025, expand our home delivery route to offer this service to the entire county. And we also provided uninterrupted service at all of our non-congregate sites. So we provided meals every day of the summer break. Next slide, please. So we'll dive in a little further into the successes and challenges we faced growing our home delivery model specifically. Our staff feel it very important to provide a hot meal to our children daily. So the non-congregate home delivery program, we provided a hot lunch and a breakfast for the next day for our children Monday through Thursday. And on Thursdays, we offered weekend meals, which included 4 breakfasts and 3 lunches. So this provided them meals for every day of the week. We ran 2 routes on either end of our county, Monday through Thursday, 10 to 2 p.m. And we served on average 130 children a day. I believe there were 2 reasons why we were so successful in the expansion of our home delivery routes. First, we were awarded a grant through Share Our Strength, No Kid Hungry, which allowed us to purchase many promotional materials, supplies, and most importantly, a vehicle to expand our program. We only had 1 vehicle to operate during 2024, and we were able to expand in 2025 because of this grant. Secondly, our team was an integral part of the growth of this program. They learned to remain flexible, open-minded, and ready to adjust delivery routes at a moment's notice, just to meet our family's needs. We saw a lot of strong success with this program, and we were invited by our state No Kid Hungry chapter, the Carolina Hunger Initiative, to serve as a Sun Meals to Go program model. So I'm really excited to be able to share this resource with you, along with some other non-congregate model programs in North Carolina, in hopes that this will support your planning and your development of upcoming program. So if you wanted to use this QR code, it will take you to the website to find these resources. Just give you a second to do that if you're doing it. And then we can go to the next slide, please. And here's just the website as well, if that QR code isn't working for you, but just another resource slide to find those resources. Next slide, please. So, though we achieved an amazing outcome, it did not come without significant hard work, dedication, and challenges. So operating a countywide home delivery program, along with 15 other summer sites, comes with its own set of obstacles. We had to plan our delivery routes, and that proved to be challenging, as we needed them to be efficient to ensure compliance with our integrity plan, maintain food safety standards, and stay within labor parameters. When parents signed up for meal delivery, they called into our offices. Our households were screened for eligibility, and their address was confirmed with Google Maps. And we used Google Drive spreadsheets to complete all this information on. So our facilities, our food production facilities, had this information very quickly. Another challenge we faced was managing higher costs of shelf-stable food. Items like milk were more expensive and had to be pre-ordered, making it very tricky to plan accurately based on projected participation. So we had to be very careful in forecasting and budgeting for those items to make sure that we weren't overspending. Another barrier we addressed was reducing food waste. Families were encouraged to let us know if they wouldn't be home, and delivery staff maintained a regular contact, sometimes calling our families daily before going out on their routes to try to minimize waste. We have many areas in our county with very poor phone reception, so making these connections ahead of time was very important for successful deliveries. Another barrier was providing consistent delivery times. It was imperative that our meals were delivered on a reliable schedule to maintain that trust and strong rapport with our families, and while ensuring the service was remained manageable for us. So to balance that demand, this delivery option was only offered to families with limited transportation to our other meal pickup sites in the county. And this allowed us to ensure tight labor and food safety controls as well. Another challenge, something we had to pay attention to, was our staff safety. Our staff drove in pairs, and they were not allowed to go to the doors when they arrived at the homes. Families had to come to the car to receive their meals, and that just allowed safer interactions, and our staff were able to see the children receiving the meals. So I know I keep going back to labor controls, but we really had to maintain a specific meals per labor hour ratio in order to not go into the red. SFSP is not a big money maker for us. We really had to prioritize quality. Excuse me, but for us, we do prioritize quality in our meals and employing our staff during the summer months. But we also do not want to go broke either. So our staff were an integral part in this process, and they were challenged weekly with serving a specific number of meals to help balance out food and labor costs. Through these programs, we were able to provide thousands of meals while strengthening our connection to our families and really ensuring that no child goes hungry during the summer months. I'm very honored to share our story with you, and hope it inspires you to meet your families where they are in any way possible and provide nutrient-dense meals to children who need them the most. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Jeanette. Loved hearing about your program. And your partnerships with camps are amazing, and home delivery on the scale that you're doing. It sounds really incredible. I especially really appreciate the steps you're taking for safety. I know that's a concern we've heard from other program sponsors when it comes to delivery. So definitely some good advice to send your staff in pairs. Also, thought it was interesting. You have the families come to the car; they do not go to the door. Another good safety tip. Just a quick question: how do the families know that they're there? Do they honk the horn? How do they alert them?
Yes, thank you. I forgot that little detail, even though it was in my notes. So, yep, we drive up to the homes and they honk every time. And that habit had to be developed over time, but it eventually caught on. And so the families knew immediately when our food service van was there is when they honked a certain little beat, and they all came running out. So
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. Let's go to the next slide. And at this time, we'll invite our speakers to all come on camera, and we're going to go into our Q&A portion. So if you do have any kind of questions for a particular speaker or for all of our speakers, now is the time to put them in the Q&A. So I'm going to refer to the questions that are already in there. First, somebody did ask about Julie's menu items, and she noted that they use primarily ready-to-eat items, cereal bars, chips, crackers, frozen sandwiches, and that shelf-stable tuna packets were a big hit. They provided packets of mayo and relish along with crackers, and kids requested that they give them tuna twice per week. So thank you, Julie. Is there anything you wanted to add to that?
Just that we kind of struggled with how to manage milk, because when you're providing that quantity of meals, it's also a large volume of milk. We started out using shelf stable. We had shelf stable cartons of milk that we would distribute, which still was kind of a lot. And then towards the end of summer, we decided to try, on the 4 days of meals, giving families just a half gallon of regular milk, just as made it easier to transport and not as bulky and took up less space for them. So we tried that and that seemed to go over pretty well.
Thank you for actually bringing us to our next question too. Somebody asked mentioned that for milk, they're looking into shelf stable again. Last year, we had a donation of 19 pallets from KEMPS in their Giving Cow partnership. Is there anyone with suggestions on what kind of milk to serve? So, yeah, to shelf stable or not to shelf stable. Um, so Jeanette or Scott or Julia, any thoughts on milk?
It's six of one, half dozen of the other. It's whatever you're gonna have the easiest time getting. Um, the shelf stable for us is great. However, we have to order, because of where we are, we have to order pallets of it at a time. And the not being sure how quickly we can use it, we really have to watch the dates because it is expensive and there are, use by dates on it. Granted, it's a year out, but it's not necessarily a year out from when I receive it. So just trying to manage waste and loss and what's going to work best for our families.
I would agree. We used shelf stable last year. It was more expensive. It does result in a lot of milk being given to families. This year we are going to play with the half a gallon portions and see how well that goes. You do need to provide, cooling instructions along with that. So that's just another piece to remember, so that the families know that it needs to be stored in a cold environment. But I do think that will save a lot of space for us, and we won't have a lot of extra left over because of potentially over ordering.
Yeah, we've been doing half gallons for a couple of years. We do a half gallon of white and a half gallon of chocolate with the 7 days of breakfast, 7 days of lunch. It's a little over, but it's much easier than trying to pack up little individual cartons. And the price for us for shelf stable just is restrictive.
Thank you, everyone. Another question that came in was, do you do a pre-order for meals? So I think
I'll
you
share.
mean like a
We don't do a
pre-registration form?
we don't do a pre-order. We have everybody register, and then we have check sheets when they get there, so we check them off so we don't get duplicates. Um, but we've just kind of learned by trial and error sometimes, and sometimes we're going out to visit them a second day because we run out one at the beginning of the year. So, but after that, we do pretty well.
For our home delivery route, I do require them to sign up, and then we compare schedules. Are you going to be there every day? Are there certain days that you're not going to be there? So we work very closely with our families so that we're not going to their homes and they're not there. But for other sites, we don't pre-order.
And we have never done pre-order. It's a first come, first serve at our distribution locations. We had 15 locations this past year, and every location distributes meals for the same period of time from 11 to 12. So that's how we kind of made sure that we were compliant in terms of really only being families being able to access one location at a time. So we had the shorter time period, but with multiple locations. As I mentioned, we're going to trial some home delivery this year, and Jeanette's actually sending me her Google Form so that I can see how she does it and kind of build off what she's doing there to help support my program here.
And looks like we have a lot of questions coming in, so feel free to type in your answers. We'll see if we can get to as many of them as possible here. I think your answers to the pre-registration question also answered another question on how you managed to make sure duplicate meals were not served. Just want to give you a chance to throw in any additional information. Is there anything that you didn't share already about how you avoided duplicate meals for your programs? Okay.
I was
Then
to say we just had to trust that families weren't going to go to multiple locations. We did make it clear to everyone that you get each student, each kiddo gets one breakfast and one lunch per day. You know, you can go to one location, but you know, we can't control what other people do. We can just try to do the best we can to create compliant programs, and you know, we can't be everywhere all the time monitoring it. And I'm not sure how we would in our situation with no pre-registration.
And I know in a lot of very rural locations where maybe they're not serving thousands of meals in one go, sometimes the integrity plan is you know everyone in town and the staff know everyone, or maybe having the sites not serving at the same time is enough. So working with your state agency is going to be really important on that.
We
Let's see.
do an eligibility process where if they're not able to pick up meals, then we can home deliver. If they're picking up meals at one of our sites, we do ask if their children are attending another camp in the area that we are providing meals for already. And we do keep rosters, so they are checked off daily. And then sometimes, and that's all Google spreadsheets too, so we can cross-reference if we ever have an issue. So we're pretty tight in that area, I think.
And we have another question here. What was your solution for storing all of the meals? So they said, we do not have a large storage freezer.
We actually struggled with that, with the refrigeration aspect of it. And the way we came at that is we actually packed, because we were packing multiple meals, multiple days of meals, we would pack all of the shelf stable components into one bag, which could be left outside of the cooler, and then packed all of the cold items into another bag that was stored in the refrigerator prior to going out for delivery. Because all of it together was too much to put in our cooler, and so we had to come up with a plan, and that was split the dry from the cold.
And I wonder if that answers another question we had here about what was your solution on meals not being squished during storage?
And that part of that too is we actually bought, we went out and got plastic totes, big, like the big, you know, Home Depot clear plastic totes with the yellow lids. And we used those to pack the meals in. It was better for us than all of the different sized boxes we were using, the boxes that we received product in. There wasn't a consistent size, so the stacks would fall, the boxes would crush. But if we used a consistent, using the consistent plastic tote, we were able to label the outside of the tote and then standardize and say, okay, this week, due to the size of the bag, each plastic tote has 10 bags or 12 bags in it. And that helped with the distribution of the meals and getting the right quantities to the different locations too.
Let's see. Another really important question came in. Did any of you use family surveys in planning? If so, what did that look like and did it change your plans?
No, but that's something I'm looking at this year because we want to adjust our model a little bit to maybe do a few more days in a box, so like a 5-day box or a 7-day box. So it's something I am looking at this year to see if that's of an interest to anybody, any of our families.
No
We've
Kid Hungry.
never
Oh,
done
go ahead.
family surveys, but that would, it's hard getting people to respond. So the surveys are tough.
And it actually brings me to think about No Kid Hungry does have some family survey templates. We can make sure we get those sent out in the post-webinar follow-up information as well. And also in our Summer Snack newsletter, we'll be sending those out as well. Let's see. And we'll do one more question. When did you start promoting your programs, parades and flyers, etc.?
So for us, parades start in June, go through August in the summertime here. We try to send flyers out with every student before the end of school. Sometimes that's a little challenging in the past, but we think this year we'll have no problem getting those out.
And Julie, when do you start promoting usually?
We start usually right around middle of April, beginning of May. Just getting out flyers. We can't really start until we've confirmed those community partners, so that kind of impacts when we start announcing, because we don't want to commit to a location and then have that community partner not be able to support it. So we wait. Sometimes it ends up being a little later till we can start, but we just want to be sure that we're putting out accurate information. So that takes a little longer sometimes.
We're around the same time, early May, mid-May, as early as we can. We get out the first week of June. So I really start promoting in May.
Okay. I think we're going to go ahead and wrap up now to the next slide. So Meyer, if we can go to the next slide, please. We do have some amazing resources on our Center for Best Practices, and we are going to be sending out information about upcoming webinars soon for our summer webinar series. Also check out our summer resources on, we have our summer meals eligibility map to help you select sites, and also some really great resources on helping with implementation. Next slide. Also very important, before you log out, scan this QR code and go to our website to make sure you get connected to the Summertime Snack newsletter. It's basically going to make sure that you get connected to all webinars, all new resources that come out, recordings of webinars in case you missed them. So please do make sure you get a chance to sign up for that Summertime Snack if you are not already. Also, at the conclusion of this webinar, you're going to be prompted to fill out a brief survey. It's only 5 questions. I personally read every single answer, so please do give us your feedback. It helps us plan future webinars. And with that, we're going to say thank you very much, everyone, for joining. Bye-bye.